Raised in Lipan, Texas, from Stephenville, Texas, this guy is an absolute true songwriter. We just added his new song, Feel For You, to the Ranch playlist. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Billy Hartman.
Singing like a preacher on his deathbed, baby, when you're all alone. Prayers you send straight up to heaven when God picked up the phone. And unjust the cost of things loved and lost, another time and place. One for the money and two for the show, and three for having faith. In the end you know, see it in the daylight. In the end you know it's true. In the end you know there ain't no hiding the way I feel for you. You're sitting on my porch with your bullhorn, baby. I hear you crying out. Everybody's heard the tune that you're humming, they don't listen now. One last call and you swear you had it all. Yeah, that's what you say. The bright lights and money ain't what you crave, honey. You need the simple things. In the end you know, see it in the daylight. In the end you know it's true. In the end you know there ain't no hiding the way I feel for you. I'm crying like a child that ain't got a mama, a tough side to ease. Tears they go with the tidal flow of your mental seas. Passion and glory and some old love story that will swim on through. Break the waves, do what it takes, treading life with you. In the end you know, see it in the daylight. In the end you know it's true. In the end you know there ain't no hiding the way I feel for you. In the end you know, see it in the daylight. In the end you know it's true. In the end you know there ain't no hiding the way I feel for you. In the end you know there ain't no hiding the way I feel for you. The way I feel for you.
The great Billy Hartman joining us here on the Ranch Sit Down. Man, that is such an incredible song.
Thank you.
It really is. But while we were walking in here to the studio to record this, Rick DeVoe, our midday guy, he's like, "Hi, I'm Rick." And you say, "Hi, I'm Billy Hartman." He goes, "Oh my God, you're the guy everybody's talking about." Like, everybody is calling and requesting that song. How amazing is that feeling to know that you've written something that has connected with so many people?
It's beyond amazing. I can't even put into words, really. I guess that's the best way I could describe it. Just beyond amazing. It's very surreal.
It's got to be a cool feeling.
Yeah.
As a disc jockey, I'm super jealous because all DJs are just wannabe musicians. So we always wish we had the talent, but we didn't, man. Ben Hussey sent me a text a couple of weeks back, and he said, "Hey, man, I've been working with this guy on this song, and I want you to hear it." And Ben is one of those guys that will not just go out on, put his neck out for something with me especially. But, like, he truly believed in you. And I heard this song, and I heard exactly what he was talking about, man. It's got that Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt kind of real cool vibe, little innuendos going throughout. I mean, it's a beautifully written song. Tell us about that song.
So when I got in the studio, Ben had asked me, actually, he was like, "Man," he's like, "what is this about?" Because, I mean, obviously, you know, you can kind of on the surface tell that it's maybe a love song of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, I said, man, it's about having to put up with my wife. And he's kind of laughed. But the more, like, after we got the rough draft recorded and he sent over the rough mix, and I was sitting in the car just kind of listening to it, and we are kind of going back and forth on what it might need more and stuff. And I was listening to the words, and there's something different about writing a song and then playing it and, like, I guess perceiving it on that level as opposed to actually hearing it while you're not involved with it.
Right.
And I was like, this song isn't about me having to put up with my wife. So this is about her having to put up with me.
You, yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, this isn't, it's a complete flip script. And I was trying not to be like narcissistic about it, you know, make it about me in some way. But it really was because my wife's really good whenever I get into moods or something, you know, and I end up on the front porch and just kind of start, you know, it's like I say, I've been doing music for about 18 years now. I first started when I was about 15, 16. So it's like going through the years and it's like, man, it's like, should I just stop? You know, at what point? Because I have a family now. So sometimes, you know, my kids ask me, you know, are you going to be here this weekend at, you know, Grammy and Bumpy's or Nana and Papa's? And I was like, no, Daddy's got to go play songs. And it's like, you know, they get kind of bummed. So I end up out on the porch kind of trying to figure my life and what I'm doing with music and family and balance. And I'm like, maybe I should just quit. But my wife's always the one to talk me off the ledge and be like, you can't quit. You've been doing this way too long. You know, let's go to bed. You know, maybe I'd had a beer or two too many. Let's just go to bed. We'll wake up in the morning and everything will be good. And so I listened to that song. I was like, man, this is about her just sitting on the porch and talking me back into peace of mind, I guess, you know. And luckily I found the best woman I think I ever could have because she keeps me, she puts up with me being on the road and playing and going out, and she keeps me doing it.
That's awesome.
I probably would have quit 100 times. I don't know, maybe not, but
maybe 99 times.
Yeah, 99 out of 100. So, but she keeps me going and keeps me moving. But that's the gist of the song.
What a neat story.
Yeah.
It is. So I told Ben, like, okay, I'm going to play this song and I'm going to debut it on our Sunday local show. Really cool show, you know, kind of focuses on great singer-songwriters in this area. And then you made a post. You had copied the playlist of it being played in there and made a post that said, waited 18 years for that 4 minutes.
Yep.
What is that moment like when that's happening, Billy?
Unbelievable. It was total affirmation for me. Just like I was telling you earlier, man, since the ranch was in Weatherford, next to, I think it's a Higginbotham's now, or it was next to a Higginbotham's over, I can't remember what the road was, right off from the college. And I remember my mom used to work at that Higginbotham's, and we listened to the ranch. It was right next door. And I remember, you know, it's where I heard a lot of the artists that I first started listening to. So it's pretty crazy, you know, growing up listening. And now I'm here.
Right.
So it's awesome, man. It's unbelievable.
And you told me how excited your kids were when they heard your song on the radio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mike Graham kind of tells the same story.
It's a recurring trend, I'm guessing, with kids. I can't remember what he said. It's just not as cool as what you'd want them to think that it is.
Yeah, you want them to just
shriek
and be excited.
It's like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I've heard that song, Dad.
Exactly, yeah. They're over it by now, so.
Well, hopefully that starts to open up some doors for you, because I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, man.
I appreciate it, man.
You've got that really cool songwriting style that you do that.
Thank you.
Once it catches hold of somebody, I think you just got to get in front of them.
That's what I'm hoping.
That's what we've needed for a while, I know. And I know it's been a rough road for you for sure, but you absolutely deserve all the recognition you're getting now.
I appreciate it.
Just don't let it go to your head, man.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. It's hard for me just to handle here. You know, this is awesome. I'm still kind of a little shaky.
It's okay.
Great.
It's okay.
Great.
Like I said before, you deserve this.
I appreciate
you absolutely deserve this. So what first got you interested into music? We were talking before we went on here, and you told me you grew up in Lipan. So I obviously asked the question, did you play basketball?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what there is to do in Lipan.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, you couldn't, because you had animals you were having to take care of. So you picked up the guitar. But why did you pick up the guitar?
It's a great story. I was sitting in English class. I think I was in 7th grade. And we had some upperclassmen as a buddy of mine, Wesley Holtzford, who's a fiddle player.
Yeah.
And Wesley come in with a couple other guys, and they had some guitars, and they asked our English teacher if they could perform a song, and they sat down and played a Tribute by Tenacious D. And as soon as they left, like I thought it was cool, but when they left, all the girls in the class were just like whispering to each other, like, "Oh my gosh, that was hot!" And I was like, "I'm gonna start playing guitar."
Starting a band.
That's why I got home that day, and I had an electric guitar that someone had bought me, but I wanted to play drums. So, but I went and I grabbed that guitar and I sat down, and that was it. I started, and I probably bugged my mom and dad with "Smoke on the Water" and Iron Man.
Yeah, everybody learns "Smoke on the Water" first.
Yeah. So, but that's what kicked it off. I wanted to get the chicks, man.
See, I always make that joke, and everybody's like, "Oh no, it's I had this deep appreciation for music." Let's be honest, we know exactly why guys start this.
I'll tell you the truth. That's why anybody starts it. They tell you anything else, they lie.
They're completely lying. That's for sure. So, was there anybody in your family that ever did music like this before, or just
No.
kind of tinkered around with it?
No, man, not really. And I've always, like, before I started playing guitar as a kid, I really loved music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say, Daryl Dodd,
Mm-hmm.
Gary Pete, like all the early stuff that they were doing on the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just absorbed that. Jerry Jeff, I loved that kind of music, and there was just something different about it. Because you could listen to other radio stations, but there was just there was feeling in it, I guess, emotion. And it just felt real, I guess. I don't know. So, and as a little kid, I think I kind of grabbed onto that. And, yeah, man, it just, I always loved music, and I think that may have been what sparked it, because then after the girl thing, it was like, okay, well, there is something to this besides just getting, because obviously you don't get the chicks. You think you can.
Yeah, you think you do, but it just doesn't happen.
But then it was like, okay, well, we're already here. We already learned a couple chords, and then started writing songs, and yeah. So I guess that was it. Just no family members. Just ended up kind of had, I guess, a natural appreciation at a younger age for music. My mom turned me on to like CCR, and that was the main, I guess, like little classic rock band, and then listening to the ranch. So
what do your family say when you say, "I'm going to be a musician"? Was there a little giggle, or?
My uncle patted me on the belly and said, "Look like you've been playing a lot of barbecue joints." And yeah, I have. It's one of the perks.
That's
I guess.
part of playing in Texas.
So yeah, man, I feel like my parents have always been supportive of it.
Mm-hmm.
But to be sitting here, and having this song out and now having something on the radio, I think kind of maybe gave them like, oh, this is he's doing something with it.
It's not just a hobby.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you're going to go play a show again. Because I miss a lot of family events for music, but they understand, and they've been real supportive through my life.
That's great.
So.
That's great. So who are you? Who would you consider influences in your music now today?
Oh man,
who are you listening to?
I don't vary or stray a lot. My main influences is going to be, I got into Steve Earle. Steve Earle took me to Townes Van Zandt, and Townes Van Zandt took me to Guy Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are, I would say, my three biggest that throughout the majority of my life I've just dug down in.
Those are your pillars there.
Yeah. But this year, when I was younger, Ben tried to get me into the Drive-By Truckers.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through like my towns. I was really getting into them at that point, and to me, Truckers was a little, it was a lot of guitar
completely
and drums,
different than that, yeah.
And it was like, I wasn't ready for it. But this year, I've really jumped into Drive-By Truckers, and I've been listening to a lot of John Moreland as well. I love Moreland's writing,
love
man.
John Moreland.
Jeez, I love songs that can make you cry. That's my favorite.
It makes me happy that they
Exactly.
can make me cry. It's the weirdest feeling ever.
Somebody else feels that way. That's my favorite part about sad songs. It's like, man, you ain't the only one. There are other people who can get sad too. So yeah.
So you worked on this new song with Ben. Does that mean there's a new album, or what are you are you doing the release singles periodically kind of thing?
I think we're gonna start jumping on a new single. Been kind of a weird week, which kind of set me back a little bit, but that's the plan. I talked to Ben, and I think we're gonna shoot for something. If everything kind of been on schedule and on plan, it probably would have been early fall into summer, but definitely this fall I'm getting back in. And
cool.
We're going to get something else out, because as well as this song, I hope if we do another one, it can do as well too. So
that's always the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
You always want to do better than the last
exactly.
one.
Exactly. I know. Yeah. So
So there's a lot of pressure on you now, Bill. So, do you write with others? Do you write? Is this just
I do.
you or me?
I used to not co-write, but when COVID happened, I did my first few co-writes with Jack Barksdale.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a pretty good guitar player, huh?
Oh yeah,
Jeez,
I'd say pretty good. Yeah, man. Yeah, we wrote a couple songs, and he put a couple of them out.
Mm-hmm.
But man, yeah, and writing with him was fantastic. But other than that, I wrote with him and some other friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
Just kind of difficult for you to co-write. For some guys, it is. Some guys, it's such a personal thing that you can't have somebody else in the room with you.
For my songs,
Mm-hmm.
I can't co-write on my things because my songs are. I feel like everything has to come from. For me, not necessarily personal experience, because I've done prompts before and wrote off those. But if I'm writing a personal song to me, I can't co-write. But if somebody has a melody, chord progression, or they at least have a melody, I did a song with a friend of mine, Carrie Lick, actually. We wrote a fishing song, and she sent me a melody, and I came up with a chord progression that I'd actually been messing with like a day or two before that, and it just fit
Weird.
perfect. Yeah, and so, other people's stuff for me is easier. So
Because they're not as good as you. Is that what
no,
you're
no,
saying?
it's just for me because I can kind of play off their ideas, and I like doing that. That's fun.
Yeah.
But as far as my own stuff, sometimes I find it a little difficult.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me.
Well, my songwriting technique starts out in the recliner. I don't know how other songwriters do
Man,
it.
beat that.
I sit in the recliner and just play guitar for like 2 hours until something hits, and then I'm like, oh, here we go.
Oh, hey, I found something.
Okay, now we'll sit up. We'll get out the
That's
paper.
so weird. Yeah. Well, you want to do one more song for us? Do you
Yeah,
mind?
yeah, yeah.
What are you going to play for us here?
Let's see. Oh, man, I didn't even think about it. Let's see.
I know. I put you on the spot. Sorry.
Let's see. Man, I'm going to do this one. This is a newer song, and it's based off a prompt. A friend of mine from up in Tulsa hit me up, and they were doing a prompt with these boards and 20-sided die. And he's like, I'm going to roll 5 numbers, and it's going to give you 5 words, and you're going to write a song based off of it. Wow. And it's Bashful, Gather, Coffee Shop, Fiddler. I can't remember what the other one was. I always forget it. Telling that story.
We'll hear it here in a minute. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. It'll be somewhere in the first verse. I knocked all of them out real quick, but this is called The Fiddler.
All right.
Don't be bashful, gather round, listen to me. I got a song for you to hear beneath the cotton tree. It's a story about a man, he's a fiddler through and through. He played the bars and honky-tonks, see what he could do. At the age of 10, his granddad, he put a fiddle in his hand. He said, son, you listen to my words, one day you'll understand. It's not cool in August here. It's too hot for anything but fiddle tunes and drinking beer. Well, nothing's set in stone when you wanna get away. He hit the road at 21, he's still out there today. From coast to coast, mountaintops, and every valley low, you can hear his fiddle sing as he pulls on the bow. At a bar somewhere in Arkansas, he'd stood up with the band. As they prepared to make a toast, them words come back to him. It's not cool in August here. It's too hot for anything but fiddle tunes and drinking beer. He spent a lifetime traveling, playing for the folks. He made 'em sing, he made 'em dance, he made 'em come in close. He met a gal in Texas who brought him back to earth. He planted roots and had some kids and found some new self-worth. These days you can hear him play beneath the cotton tree, because he is me and I'm drinking beer with a fiddle on my knee. It's not cool in August here. It's too hot for anything but fiddle tunes and drinking beer. It's too hot for anything but fiddle tunes and drinking beer.
The great Billy Hartman. This is going to be one of those moments I feel like, remember when I got Billy Hartman to come in studio with me, and now he won't talk to me anymore because he's a big superstar? You're good. We're recording.
Okay,
podcast.
cool.
You're good.
Okay, good.
Billy's been trying so hard not to cuss for me,
Man,
and I appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Man, congratulations on this new song. It's a fantastic song. All the success that you're starting to receive, and like people know who the name Billy Hartman is now, and that's really cool. And I know it's been a long journey.
It is.
And I know there's been a lot of ups and downs, probably more downs than ups than you would want to talk about.
It's all good now. It ended up here.
That's good, man. I'm so glad to hear it. I can't wait to hear what you come out with next.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for chatting with me, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you having me, man. This means the world to me.
The great Billy Hartman. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.